Welcome back to Crazy Gamers Games. I'm the Crazy Gamer, as always, and we are stepping further into my first time building an army for 40k, an Adeptus Mechanicus army, and I have finished the second of my unit for my kit bash for a destroyer / breacher. He's in the breacher form now with his arc rifle and his arc claw, and as you can see, I did a little bit different work on the middle section of the two. See, this one has some white in it, and then I put some structural in the back. With this one, I was able to salvage some more bits from the actual kit for the Cataphrod breachers and destroyers, and I kind of put some hoses and stuff in there, and I filled it with a little epoxy sculpt because I wanted to try how that did on filling and sanding and evening it out, and it went pretty good. It actually goes on very smooth. Epoxy sculpt's a good product. But mainly what I want to talk about is how with the destroyer part of the build, you have a plasma and you have a grav cannon, and they both use the same back piece, what is this piece right here. And in order, the first one I did, I magnetized it, packed it with green stuff, and then I added a metal pin to the plasma and the grav cannon, and it just kind of slots in there, and then it can go onto the unit. But this is a lot of work, a lot of downtime letting this dry, and I wanted to make it so I had hoses going off of this. So what I did was I made the next one, and I temporarily put a magnet in it, and I filled it. This one I filled with milliput, so it will fit a weapon very well. Let's see, I have one right here. So this right here would slot right in there like that. And then I took the magnet back out, and I took off the top bits because I'm going to do some coil hoses and stuff from some guitar wire. And then I made duplicates of them, and I want to talk about that process. And this is a duplicate. This is made from green stuff and epoxy sculpt, a 50-50 mix. I still have some cleanup work to do on it, but this is when you mix the epoxy sculpt and the green stuff, it's a very nice mixture. It's able to be worked, drilled, sanded lightly, scraped. It handles very well. And then this one I made of milliput. This one is all milliput, and most people know that milliput, you can sand it, you can drill it. It does take 24 hours to cure, so does the epoxy sculpt and green stuff. I have had luck curing them faster in a toaster oven on low heat, but with the molds I use, which I'll show in a minute, they can't be in the heat, and the part has to cure in the mold. Unfortunately, currently, it's a little chilly here, about 55-60 degrees, so the epoxy putty is taking a lot longer to cure. But I had made some molds. Now this is my second generation mold. This was the part made out of green stuff and epoxy sculpt that came out of my first generation mold, and you can see these little bits on the top. They're very difficult to clean up, so you can see that. So on the next molding, I cut these bits off, and then I'm going to attach hosing across the top here to here, and maybe coming around and up there, some wires and stuff to make it not look so plain. So that's that. So let's take a look at the mold. This is one of my molds. This is Instamold, or you can use blue stuff at pretty much the same consistency. And I will show you. These should have cured all the way, Now, in this, I'm trying another mixture of half epoxy sculpt and half milliput. And this is the product that I get. It is very rock hard. It can be drilled very easily. I mean, this stuff is nice, and I actually like it better than. See, it drills out real nice. I like it better than the epoxy sculpt and green stuff. And then you can also be scraped very nicely. I mean, this can be scraped down, any imperfections taken out. And it also can be sanded very well. From what I found, the half epoxy sculpt, half milliput so far in this sample piece has given me the properties I'm looking for. This is an optimum design, and I've tried many different recipes, but let's see how it did molding apart. Now, this is my first time opening these molds, and I did these molds differently than the first one, so let's take a look. So there's the part. It's got flashing around it, but that should clean up pretty easy. And then let's see if we can get the part out. Yeah, this is very hard. And then you can see inside the mold there. It's pretty detailed. And right there is the part. This flash pretty much just breaks right off. And it's going to be minimal cleanup. And then, painting it and then putting the hoses and coils and stuff on it. See, this cleans up very well. This is much better than my first attempt with the bits on top. So this is what it looks like. This is the milliput and epoxy sculpt mixture. So that's that one. I have another one I had made 2 molds because I need 2 per destroyer breacher. And this is the one. This one I didn't fill the mold as much. So, see, this one turned out. This one, the flash just breaks right off of this one also. So basically, this Instamold, you heat it up in hot water, and it becomes gooey. And then I put it in a Lego brick mold and squashed it down, and then I pushed the part in with the indentions first. With the indented part first, I pushed it down like this, and then I put that in the freezer to cool for like 5-10 minutes, and then I popped it out, and then I made the top half and just squished it down on top. And there was my 2-part mold. Put that in the freezer 5-10 minutes, and then I was able to separate the molds. And I have 2 good molds to make 2 per unit, one for the grav cannon and one for the plasma cavalier. So my next goal is to make the one for the arc rifle and the torsion cannon. I believe that's what it's called. But I'm going to fill this out similarly to what I did here on the green stuff, but I'm going to sculpt a better line, and then I'm going to temporarily insert a magnet, and then I'm going to wait for it to cure, pop the magnet back out, and then I'm going to make molds of one mold that has 2 of these pieces in it, because I have 2 of the pieces right here, and then I'll be able to produce 2 of these per destroyer, because with the new Servitor Maniple that is in Vigilus, I'm going to have 12 of these destroyer breachers that are converted like this. I'm going to attempt to switch the arms up on the next 3 and maybe do a little bit different stuff with it. But that is basically how I copy these parts. I mean, they're not perfect. I'm hoping they paint up well. I'm gonna paint up some when it warms up and I'm able to paint. It's a little chilly to paint right now. and we'll see how they look painted, but currently I'm very happy with the product. It accepts a magnet very well, just a little bit of super glue, and the cleanup process with this is not as bad as the first generation I made, where I tried to keep the top little bits on, and I tried to make it a deeper 2-part mold where the mold line was right across the center here. By putting the mold line right on the top here, I was able to do a better product on that. I noticed that this one is a little bulgy. I don't think I clamped it hard enough and squeezed out the excess as much as this one. This one's flatter. So, but I believe they'll clean up and paint. You know, I might have to do a little touch up on it, but it'll be ready for me to connect the weapon to it. And as you can see, this Milliput mixture with the epoxy sculpt is very easy to work with. It cleans up real nice. And, you know, if I need to, I can come in here and I can sand it. Sand that line down like so. But like I said, this is my 2nd generation mold. I want to try a different molding method where I can get this pocket in the center a little bit better. These molds are reusable. All I have to do is just pop them back in hot water, and I can make a new mold. So Instamold, it's great stuff. If you need to copy some parts, but I know they're not perfect, but they're going to look good on the tabletop. I'm not going for competition work here. So that is my progress so far, and how I've copied the parts, and also how I've came up with a better filling product that's more workable with the half epoxy sculpt and half Milliput. You do have to mix it a lot. You have to make sure it's very thoroughly mixed. I mixed the epoxy sculpt and let it sit for 5 minutes, and during that 5 minutes I mix up the Milliput really, really well. And this is the Milliput yellow. I'm going to try it with the silver gray and the super fine white. But as I mix the Milliput for 5 minutes, and then I mix the epoxy sculpt and the Milliput together for another 5 minutes, I roll it out, twist it, break it up into pieces, and swish it all back together a lot. As it does take a lot of effort to get it mixed thoroughly. So, and even doing it with the green stuff, the green stuff mixture, I think, makes a better looking, more detailed product. So you could go either way with the mixture. It seemed to have a little less detail and a little sloppier with the Milliput and epoxy sculpt, and so I'm not sure. I like it, but I also like the green stuff in Milliput. It can be drilled and sanded the same way. So either way works, 50-50 mix of either one. It just makes a better product. The epoxy sculpt I used under here, take off his carapace. I used that epoxy sculpt here, and it's a fine product. It can be scraped and sanded just like the mixture, but I find with the green stuff or the Milliput added to it, it just gives it a little bit more durability, and it's just a slightly nicer consistency. Epoxy sculpt is very soft, and by mixing it with the firmer green stuff or Milliput, it firms it up and allows you to sculpt with it a little bit better and fill the recesses and voids, and for it to hold its shape better. Well, that's it for this video. I believe the next video I'm going to be building some Electro Priest, and I'm going to do some interesting things with their Electro Stabs. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, leave comments below. For Crazy Gamers Games, I'm the Crazy Gamer. Have a good day.